With the death of Pope Francis, which purely coincidentally happened right after he met with J.D. Vance, a new pontiff is about to drop. That means 138 men in red gowns from every corner of the world are about to get together in Rome and lobby for the guys they think are best suited for the job. I've studied negotiation and spent 8 years in Catholic school, so while I don't know who's actually going to get to ride around in the Pope-mobile next, I do have some insights into what the cardinals are going to need to do to get that white smoke emerging from the Sistine Chapel. I'm not going to talk about the specific process of electing the Pope, because I know you've seen Conclave, though it is fun to mention that any baptized Catholic male is eligible for the role, because if you're Catholic, any man at all is better than a woman. What the cardinals are going to be doing over the course of the conclave should prove an effective study in using interest-based bargaining. This is my favorite type of negotiating because all parties can start from a place of clear and even shared objectives. While disputes still often arise, antagonism isn't the foundation of the negotiation process. Instead, the focus can be on what is in the best interests of all parties to solve their problem. This type of negotiation challenges the parties involved to consider their values and priorities and collaborate creatively on solutions. Think about Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin's conscious uncoupling. They were able to find common ground, like their love for their children, to negotiate an amicable divorce. The casts of Friends and The Big Bang Theory negotiated their salaries together, helping them not just get better raises, but more equitable work environments. So, what can the College of Cardinals learn from Coldplay and Ross and Rachel? An interest-based negotiation follows a specific flow, one that happens to be a great one for electing a pope. You start with the issue. We need a new pope. Then you articulate the interests of the parties involved, their options for fulfilling them, and the standards for deciding on a solution. Then you arrive at an acceptable consensus. In this case, new pope. We're about to watch a group of disparate men representing very different populations and different Christian ideologies have a showdown over whether to continue on the path of the more progressive agenda of Pope Francis or the more traditionalist views of predecessors like Pope Benedict. The next man chosen as Pope will be whomever can secure a 2/3 majority of the conclave voters, 6 of whom were just last month accused of covering up sexual abuse, by the way. But the path for electing the new Pope will have to be directed by what the voters have in common. The urgent need to find a head of the church, obviously. But also, one hopes, the teachings of the one guy who is most often lost in the crowded field of religious politics. If the cardinals need a guiding standard to set, they owe it to their 1.4 billion Catholics to start with. Who would Jesus choose?